So for my presentation, I'm doing common mental health problems among adolescents. So first of all, what is a mental health problem? Mental health problem refers to a wide range of mental health conditions or disorders that affect your mood, thinking, and or behavior. Where do mental illnesses come from? Mental illnesses are caused for a wide variety of different reasons, but some vulnerabilities are biological vulnerabilities, psychological vulnerabilities, environmental stressors, and lack of environmental support, as well as poor coping skills, will all make you more likely to have a mental illness. Some youths that are most at risk are those with significant history of mental illness in their family, those who have a variety of psychosocial stressors, such as deadlines, those dealing with peer pressure or work, and also a lack of appropriate coping skills. This could be just talking to friends or family, engaging in physical activity, or having professional help if it's available. These are the people that are most at risk. However, mental illness can happen to anyone at any time. Some examples of mental illnesses are eating disorders, anxiety, social phobias, and depression. So first, looking at eating disorders, there's three main sections of an eating disorder. There's anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, and there's also binge eating disorder. Anorexia and bulimia, people who suffer with this are typically obsessed with body image. They think that the skinnier they are, the better they will look. So people with anorexia will starve themselves and try to eat as few calories as possible in order to remain or get even skinnier. And bulimia nervosa, people with this will throw up food that has been consumed in order to limit the calories. So there's also binge eating disorder, and this is people who eat a lot of food in one sitting, more food than most people would, until the point where they feel uncomfortable even. And after the fact, they almost feel sorry for eating so much, and it's just something they can't really control. These eating disorders affect 4% of teens, ages 13 to 18. 90% of these teens, or 90% of people with anorexia are female. 50% of teens with an eating disorder also suffer from depression. And then boys will make up only approximately 10 to 15% of adolescents and teenage population with eating disorders, but they're much less likely to seek treatment due to the gender stereotypes surrounding the disorder, because males believe that anorexia and bulimia especially are disorders that only girls really have, and therefore are almost ashamed to seek help. Anxiety. So anxiety is caused from stress. According to the National Institute of Health, nearly 1 in 3 of all adolescents aged 13 to 18 will experience an anxiety disorder. Today's youth can feel pressured to succeed in ways that previous generations just did not. Social media is also a big part of anxiety, as today's teens are constantly connected to social media, and so too are their self-esteem. It becomes connected to responses to social media posts. It's hard for them not to compare their life and social connections to what they see others posting on social media. It creates a false narrative almost of what life is supposed to look like. It makes people think that if their life isn't awesome 100% of the time, then they're really aren't living life right. And some examples are social phobias, OCD, panic disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Looking at antisocial behaviors, they are disruptive acts characterized by covert and overt hostility and intentional aggression towards others. Some examples of this are gang violence, PTSD, aggression, and substance use even. Antisocial behaviors are more prevalent in boys, and being exposed to violence will make you more likely to develop an antisocial behavior of some sort. The next is depression. This is arguably the most serious mental health problem today, as suicides are rising each year for all age groups, not just adolescents. And of course, depression and suicide are linked. It affects 20% of teens before even reaching adulthood, and only 30% of adolescents who have depression are being treated for it. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for young people, ages 15 to 34, only behind accidents, such as a car accident. Female teens develop depression twice as often than men. And it's defined as a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest in activities. If left untreated, it typically gets worse. Anyone with depression should seek some sort of help, whether it be talking to a friend or family member. Doesn't have to be a psychiatrist. Even Kids Help Phone, as seen on the screen, is a great organization that aims to help adolescents with depression and aims to prevent suicides. So bullying and mental health, how are they connected? Are they connected? Well, if an adolescent is being bullied, they are far more likely to develop some sort of mental health issue. There have been many accounts of adolescent suicides due to depression caused by bullying. One example that I can personally recall from my childhood is Amanda Todd. I remember seeing the news covering the story where she was a Canadian teenager from BC who was a victim of cyberbullying, and the bullying got so bad that she no longer felt the will to live and committed suicide at the age of 15. She suffered from anxiety, depression, and panic disorders. And sadly, this happens far too often in today's society, where teens are taking their own lives because they just don't feel the need or the will to live anymore. So, how does an adolescent's environment affect them? Well, if there's emotional, sexual, or physical abuse present, or bullying, substance abuse, demands at school, all of this will contribute to a potential mental health issue. If you have the proper coping strategies, have the proper support around you, you're far less likely to develop a mental health issue. But if you do develop one, then you're far more likely to be able to cope with it and get past it, get over it, and recover from it. So youth mental health and the law. Adolescents are far more likely to be arrested if they have some sort of mental health issue. They also have a higher risk of exposure to the juvenile justice system if they have some sort of mental health issue. And in up to 2/3 of the teens in juvenile detention have been diagnosed or have a diagnosable mental health issue. whether it has been diagnosed or not. Now, can mental health issues be prevented? Short answer, no, not realistically. However, there are many ways to cope with a mental illness. Depending on the mental illness, you can receive psychiatric help, medication, just having a support system are all ways that you can get over or make mental illness issues better in order to get past them. Thank you.